Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with part 2 of our autumn garden folio that we're making out of a file folder. You should have already seen part 1 where we cut the folder down. I showed you what my thinking was around those decisions. It was a little bit rough, but in the end we get it done. We did also cover all of it. Let me just show you really quick in case you missed the first one. So we covered it with some paper on the front and the back, and we put pockets on the inside. This was a little bit rough. We had some unexpected problems with that, but it is okay. I always talk on my channel about scrapping perfection, because I believe that perfection and striving for perfection steals our joy. At least it steals my joy, because then I'm spending my time beating myself up over what didn't go well when I could be creating and sharing inspiration and those kinds of things. So that's kind of my motto in my studio. Is I say perfection is not at play in my studio. I'm here to have a good time, and I'm here to share creativity. So as I mentioned in part 1, the Autumn Garden Journal is the grand prize in the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So when this journal is done, all 3 prizes will be ready. There'll be a grand prize, a second prize, and a third prize. In order to be eligible, you need to go back to the playlist for the Autumn Diary Journal, which is the second prize for the giveaway, and like every one of those videos and leave a comment. Then you'll need to do the same with the Autumn Garden Journal. And all of these details will be in the description box, so you don't need to remember them right now. But you need to do the same. Like and comment on every video in both of those playlists. The third prize, which is the Altoid Tin Mini Journal that I made, I believe it was called Cottage Charm. That's just going to be a random draw. So that will be the third prize. It's already done. The second prize is already done. I'm just working on the big mama here, the journal. So we're just making some ephemera and getting going in that process. So again, everything will be down in the description box. This is only available to people in Canada and the United States. And I'm not going to go into the reasons why every single time I talk about that, but it's too expensive for me to do that. So I don't charge for anything. I give everything away, and I just can't do it. I'm looking for a solution though. So if you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. So we're going to get going here, and what I did off camera is I went ahead and I cut a bunch of stuff, selected a bunch of ephemera to put in this, and I'll be talking you through that here as we go. So I will be needing to ink as we go along, because I did not do that off camera, but we're going to start with the pockets here that we made, or we started in part 1. They were just pieces of the file folder, and I went ahead off camera and I went ahead and cut them, backed them. I went ahead and covered them with some digitals from the kits that I'm using. So this one's going to go over here, and this one's going to go over here. So let's go ahead and glue those on, and then we can move along. So I'm going to go ahead and glue on 3 sides. I am doing these videos back to back, so the same day I'm creating them. So I have a cold, so if I'm sniffly, I apologize in advance. I don't stop life when I get sick. I just can't. I've spent a lot of time sick in the last year, so I just have determined that I will rest when my body says rest, and I will work when I can work, and I will sleep well and take my vitamins and all that stuff, but I am a little bit raspy. Okay, so there we go. And as I mentioned in the other video, I am using several kits in this journal, all kind of the same. I believe they were the same original. They're this autumn blush kind of colors of autumn, so with florals, and they're all watercolor images. For the most part, they're watercolor images, but I'm using 3 different kits. Apparently the designers all use the same original images, so there we go. So let's go ahead and see what else we've got going on here. So I had originally talked about covering these in vellum, but then I decided that with it being with folio, I want these things to be very stable. And this is actually quite thick. So it's going to be really durable. It'll be one of those things where the person can take it out of the journal. It's just going to be an insert and they can stick it in their purse or whatever. So it's going to be really awesome. So the first thing that I want to do is make this tag, but because I didn't use vellum on the pockets, I thought I would go ahead and do a vellum overlay. So I'm going to glue this on. Actually, I had originally thought about sewing it. I wonder if I should still do that and go ahead and sew around some of these pieces. I'm going to go ahead and ink this really quick. I'm going to grab my sewing machine and get it over here to my spot, and I will be right back with you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wait to ink the vellum until it's solid on here. I'm just going to use a little bit of glue just in the 4 corners of this vellum so that I can sew, and then I will go over. I pulled my sewing machine over, so I can just go ahead and do that off camera and come back with you. So I will be back in a moment. Okay, our tag is sewn together. I forgot though that I wanted to put a vellum pocket on here, which is going to cover up all of that stitching, so I might not put that pocket on here. I've got some other things going on that I picked after I decided on this idea. So I think this is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it up. And so just an FYI, I'm not going to embellish all these on camera. I will do that before I take the photos and before I upload the video, and so you'll be able to see close-up photos at the end. It would just take way too much time for me to put everything on here, all the, you know, toppers and eyelets and all of that. So I'm just showing you the basic constructs and kind of where things are going to go. So, but you know what, I just realized we need to probably put our pockets on the front first, because then we'll know where everything else is going to go. So I've got a whole bundle of stuff here for the pockets. If I can find it in my stack, there it is. So here are our front pockets, again using some vellum because I really love that sound and that look. And so as I mentioned in the first video, I was going to do 4 inches, then 3 inches, then 2 inches, and they'll be staggered. So they're not going to be like that all stacked up. They're going to be spread out a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of try to estimate here before I take a moment and pause to get the inking going on here. So I think I'm going to kind of go like that. So I really probably need to ink these first and then glue them together so that they can just be laid on this surface here, on the front. Goodness gracious, let me ink. So I'm going to go ahead and ink these up, and then I think I'm also going to stitch around them just because I've got the machine over here. So I am just, again, trying to line this up a little bit. How I want it to go. This can go ahead and cover a little bit of that, a little more of that than I would typically do, and I'm going to stitch around this. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue here, just a smidge, just to hold that in place. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and then I'll run it through the machine. So often I want to do the stitching and then I just forget to pull the machine over here. No matter how many times I've tried in the studio to make room for my machine on my desk, I just can't do it. So there we go. So that's that. And then this last one is going to go on the bottom like so. So it's going to go just above this line. So I'm going to go ahead and just make that make my glue line there so that I can match it to the other side. Just a little bit up, about 1/4 of an inch. There we go. I love these images. They're so beautiful. I'm a watercolor lover, so I just love these images. You can tell that this is watercolor. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and stitch this, and I will be right back. Okay. So, isn't that just a beautiful touch? It would have even been prettier to have this all be like that too. But, and then when you look at the back, well, I guess that doesn't really show, but all these are open. See how these are all open? So when I glue the whole thing down, it's going to be glued on 3 sides. So let's go ahead and do that really quick. Oh, that is looking wonderful. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac just because I am going over stitching. Sometimes that can be a problem. So I'm not too worried about my margin of glue here because the pocket is pretty big. You could certainly be more frugal with the space if you so chose. There we go. Get this back over here. There we go. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit so I can see that grain on the bottom. Those were cut perfectly. Love it. So now I can start actually putting some of these makes in here because I think this was supposed to go in the front pocket. Yeah, it's supposed to go there. So you know what? I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to go ahead and do my eyelet on this. So pardon me 1 second while I grab my eyelet setter. When I pull my machine over on my cart, it's a different cart than my supplies, so I may have to rethink that. So I'm just going to find an eyelet here really quick in my drawer. And there we go. We may as well just finish it. And I do have some ribbon, and let me pull some sari silk. I didn't actually plan on doing any decorating here now, but I'm going to go ahead and pull a couple colors out here, see what we want. I think I want this color. So there we go. So let's go ahead and get this punched. Just looking for my small one. I like to use the small one because the big one always gives me fits. So I'm trying to not affect the stitch line. So there we go. Put our eyelet in. I think I just figured out a solution though for my sewing machine so that I can pull my sewing machine over and still have my grab and go supplies right at my disposal too. So I might be working on that later on today. I'm always about better and more efficient ways of doing things. There we go. Beautiful. And for any further decoration, I will go ahead and do that off camera, and then you'll be able to enjoy all that beauty in the pictures at the end. So I'm just going to cut off a bit of sari silk. I'm going to tie this one in a bow, so I'm cutting it a little longer. This color is burnt orange, and it's from My Scrap Cabins on Etsy. That's where I get my my seam binding. I make my own too, but I don't really have the time to make every color that I want, and I feel like it's pretty affordable buying it already done. So there we go. We're going to tie that in a bow. It'd be really pretty to put a charm on here. Let me see if I've got one here. I don't think I have my charms. They must be in another safe place. I usually pull everything for the kit and keep it in one spot, but it looks like they must be in some other basket somewhere, so I'll have to do that later. I'll probably put a charm on this. But isn't that just beautiful? Just beautiful. That's going to go in there. Oh, I love it. Oh, don't you love it when things turn out the way you pictured in your mind? So let me see what else was going to go in here. This was a front pocket piece. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. I probably will stuff these pretty full. I may not get everything in them right now. There's a lot to do. I changed my ink pad. It was oh goodness gracious, look at that ink. It was giving me grief and shredding and crumbling in the last video. So let's see, where do we want that? I think I want that one in this pocket. And I have this as well. I think this was going to go inside. I think this was going to, excuse me, going to go inside. Well, we can do it right now though. And again, these oftentimes I will put something along the edge to fancy them up, but we're going to just go ahead and ink them right now, and then you'll see the surprises at the end of the video, as well as whatever's not on at the end of the video will be over on the blog, so you can just click on the link in the video description. It'll take you over there. I think I would like to stitch around this as well, since I'm doing that. In fact, let me get a couple of these ready and then I will stitch around them. This is a tag as well. And again, I will probably just add some frou-frou to these pieces off camera, so I don't keep you forever and a day. This is just basic construction kind of video and kind of just seeing my style a little bit and hoping that it will inspire you. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, and then I have this, so I can also stitch this while I'm off camera. So I thought I would use this front piece and make one of those little booklets. So I've got a bunch of coffee stained paper, coffee dyed paper, and then this is the little cover. So I think I will go ahead and sew these all at the same time. So I will be back momentarily. Okay. So the stitching is done. I'm hoping that I can get through all of these bits without my machine running out of thread. So I'm just going to just gently trim these ends off. And I'm going to show you what we did here. Okay, stitching and trimming is done. So I will be again decorating these bits more off camera. So I did do, whoops, let me just grab that. I did do some just wonky stitching on some of them, and then I did a double stitching around, straight stitch, and then zigzag on that one. Still leaves nice writing space, and this pretty plain, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and stick this up here in the big pocket. Come on, big pocket. It's a little stiff because the card is stiff. So this is 65 pound paper, and then we have that on top of other things already covered in 65 pound paper. So it's a little much. So, and again, I will put toppers and things on these, probably some lace, as that's my thing. I'll probably put another big tag in here. I didn't do anything with the back yet. I didn't cut anything. I'm not sure that I want to. I will make that decision when off camera. So, and then this was going to be the little booklet. So I'm just going to reach over here and grab my stapler here. Sits above me on my shelf above my desk, so I'm going to go ahead and just line those up and then just staple them like so, and then I'm going to put this piece as kind of a border to cover up that those staples. So you don't have to do that, but it's what I want to do. Hopefully this is going to go through. Yeah, nice and easy little pad of paper. I'll probably go around these and at least, well, let's just do it here. Just give a little bit of ink there to the visually to it. You can totally do this with scraps. I don't have much in the line of scraps for my coffee dyed paper currently. So there we go. So then I thought I'd put this back on here to cover up those staples, and I'll probably put in a sentiment or something on there. So let's go ahead and put that on. And we'll move on to the next thing. I don't even remember what it is. I probably will put some pockets on the back, but I completely forgot about that while I was busily working off camera. I'm going to trim that just a little bit. It's hanging over. Check out the other side. The other side seems to be good. So that little notebook can go, probably can go in here. or maybe in here. Yeah, I like it there. It's a little tight. There's a lot of tight things going on here. Maybe on the front. Yes, I think on the front would be better for that because it's a little bit thick. We'll see. I can play around with that too as we go along. The other thing I have here is I wanted to do a tag. These are all inside pocket things, I think. So I may have this backwards, but I thought I again would introduce some vellum and then put it on this tag. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this and sew it really quick, and I'll be back with you. Okay. I always forget how much I love stitching. It's just so beautiful. And we did have a little bit of puckering. It must have moved, but that's okay. So these bits I have here are actually to go inside of here. I forgot. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. So we're going to go ahead and ink these up. I think I'm going to round the corners. And we're going to go ahead and ink these up. Okay, so we are all inked up. So I'm just going to kind of stick these cards in here. They can stick out a little bit, just to kind of give a little bit of interest there. Oh, maybe like so. Sorry, I'm off camera, guys. Like that. Stuck that little tag in there, like that. Stick this little card in there. Will that go that way? Yep. Like that. Oh, it won't. It's too big because of the stitching. There we go. So that is our little tag. Let's go ahead and put an eyelet on this one as well. I'm just going to reach and grab an eyelet from my drawer. I don't really have anything that fit this color journal, so I'm just using the bronze. It's not a big deal. So again, just going to make my hole. We probably will use the same Sari silk. I could make it in the two colors though, because this is the other color we can pull out of that those images. So I think I'll use that interchangeably. So just going to go ahead and set that. There we go. Get a piece of this. And we're going to do it in a bow as well. And then we'll see what we have left. I always end up finding more that I want to do off camera, so you might see some surprises in the pictures at the end. Come on, Cara-Renee. Fingers work. My nails do not help me with that fiddly work. I'm going to go ahead and trim that so it's not all frayed. There we go. Just going to make those even and tie a bow, or a ribbon, bow, a knot, a bow. Oh, for goodness sakes. Crack myself up some days. There we go. Awesome. Love that. And I love those bits hanging down. So let's open this back up and see where she can go. Almost feel like it needs to go over here. I like that. So let's see what else we have. Just going to set that aside. Well, actually, I think I can keep it in the view here so I can evaluate what I'm doing here, because some of these are now not in the right places. Let's see what we got. Oh, so yeah, this is for the front pocket. So just going to ink these up really quick. Okay, just finishing up the inking here. Shouldn't be too much longer. So I wanted to show you, in case you're new to the channel, when I have these envelopes, I like to actually leave them unglued. because then the recipient can actually journal in the inside of it. So I'm going to grab some Velcro. I did move my stuff, so I'm hoping that I can find it without digging up. I don't remember where I put them. Doesn't it figure, you guys? I just was messing around in here, and I maybe have to do that off camera, but I have those little minimal Velcro dots, so we'll do that off camera. I don't want to waste your time. So this journal card is going to go inside of it, and then this is just going to close like so, and it can fit somewhere as well. So let's go ahead and put that. Oh, we still have this small pocket down here. Actually, I'm going to put, this feels like it's too thick for the front. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. And put this here. And let's see if we can, oh, and then we could put this in here. So it's nice and stuffed. I love it. Oh, we need to put something on here though, don't we? Do we or don't we? I'll decide that off camera. Doesn't necessarily have to have anything going on there. So let's see if we can find another spot for this. Everything inside is tight, but that's because it's newly glued, so it's not a big problem per se. But I'm feeling like this is just too long or too tall. So let's move some stuff around and see what we can do here. This is just really tight because when you use heavier cardstock, things like this are going to be tighter as a rule, but that just feels like it's not going to work because nothing else is going to slide in there. So back to the drawing board here. That is okay. Plus I don't want all like things together. Like these are the same print, I believe. So maybe we'll move this on the inside and put this here. Kind of cattywampus. Oh, I like that. Yes, I like that. Okay. And then we can stick this in here or in here. I like it right there. And then I've got one more thing. I've got one more envelope, which I'm not sure that I'll use because I think it's a little bit too bulky, but it's just one from the kit. But I do have the tags here. I'm not going to put anything on. I'm not going to put holes or anything on them. I'm just going to go ahead and ink them up. Okay, we are just about done. So I'm just going to take one more quick look at this and see if there's anything else we need so I can evaluate what I'm going to do off camera. I think I'm going to stick these in this pocket. That was not the original plan, but I like that. Little triplicate tags there. And so that means I do need something here. So will this fit here? It will. It will. It just is so tight. And it's probably because of all the stuff on the front as well. I'm going to go ahead and ink it up just cosmetically here. I'm not going to go through all the inking process, but I probably will decorate this a little bit because it's kind of plain. So we are done, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the process. Again, this is part 2, so I'll go ahead and put part 1 in the end cards, I guess they call them, at the end of the video. So there we go. That is it. We will be putting some sentiments and other things on here to make it all pretty, but that is our little folio. And as you can see, it's not too thick, like bulky. It's looking pretty darn good. And so I would say this is a win. And it's actually staying closed. It's bouncing just a slight bit, but it is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye-bye.